Hello you, thank you for clicking on to my Gorilla Position YouTube channel, the place to get huge interviews with the biggest superstars in WWE. Coming up on this video.
He's like, have you guys seen Seth's gear? When we saw him, we both lost it. We were like, wow, that's really freaking cool.
But before all that, hit that subscribe button. Do it now. If you're a subscriber to this here YouTube channel, you will be personally notified every single time a brand new WWE superstar interview video is uploaded. And get involved with the podcast, Gorilla Position. Type it in to whatever your preferred podcast platform is. We drop every single Wednesday and we are the biggest WWE podcast to come out of the UK. Get in touch on social media at WWEGP on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're across them all. And finally, wherever you are in the world, leave your comments below this video. Get in touch and let's celebrate our love for WWE together. Now, roll the titles. Dominik Mysterio, how are you doing today, sir?
Very good, James. How about yourself?
All right, thank you. Firstly, I have to just congratulate you on SummerSlam. What an incredible achievement. How was the weekend for you? Can you describe the feelings of the last few days?
Well, first of all, thank you very much. I appreciate that. But, you know, it was crazy from being behind the scenes of it all, as far as like seeing my dad do media and seeing him, you know, running around like crazy all day, to me having to do that. You know, I started off the day with camera crews, you know, in the hotel. And so it was just crazy, you know, start to the week on Sunday. But it was a surreal moment, and I'm very blessed for the opportunity that I was given.
Well, you did incredibly well with that opportunity. And did you feel nervous? Did you feel enormous pressure? Because not only was it SummerSlam, not only was it the first pay-per-view in the Thunderdome, but you're the son of Rey Mysterio. You know, there was a lot of expectations from fans. Mm-hmm. Did you feel the pressure? Oh,
most definitely. The night before, it was a rough night's sleep. Woke up and I was nervous. Like, it was like the whole day I was just like kind of shaking a bit. But yeah, man, I was nervous. I knew the kind of pressure I had on me. I knew the name that I have to carry and make proud. But when it came down to it, you know, I was very focused on the task at hand, and I knew what I had to do.
And what has Seth taught you since you came in? I think a lot of assumptions are made by fans saying that, you know, if anyone can take Dominik or can sort of take care of Dominik in there, if anyone can lead someone new to a great match, it's Seth. Would you echo those sentiments?
1000%. Seth has been nothing but, you know, so helpful, so kind. So, you know, he said it before, he's a master at his craft, and I couldn't have picked anyone else to have a debut match, anyone better than Seth Rollins, and I'm very thankful for him and everything that he's done for me.
Now, the match, in my opinion anyway, and I know a lot of fans agree, but the match had everything. Like, amazing action, the wonderful element of surprise of you sort of knocking out of the park when it comes to the in-ring work, but also very dramatic storytelling, the emotion of the father-son dynamic, even your mum getting involved, bless her. Who pieced this, and I'm going to call it a masterpiece, who pieced this together in terms of bookers and producers overseeing this one?
Oh, man, I think it had to do a little bit of everybody, you know, Seth, my dad, Jamie Noble, my mom, because my mom doesn't like watching me, because she doesn't enjoy watching me get beat. Like the kendo stick beating, she didn't watch it. She watched like the first 2 hits and then she was like, I'm done. So the fact that she was able to like sit there and like watch the match was pretty cool. But yeah, between Seth, my dad, Jamie Noble, you know, and a bunch of other guys that I'm probably missing, and I'm so sorry. But yeah, it was truly great, you know, the way everything was put together, and you know, all thanks to Seth, you know, for helping me get through it.
And what I just wanted to ask you about the Thunderdome. Obviously, you being one of the first performers to perform in that environment, such a strange, different environment, but it came across amazingly well on the pay-per-view. How was it performing in front of LED screens?
It was different, because of this whole pandemic era of wrestling, starting with no fans to 15 to 20 fans all separated 6 feet apart to this tremendous Thunderdome. It's so huge, the way that it's built beautifully, it's set up beautifully, and all performing in front of those LED screens it was crazy, because like I never would have imagined to have performed in front of 400 different people's faces. So I think that was really interesting, and that was really cool. And it was an experience that I'll never forget.
And this might sound like a stupid question, but were you pleased with the match itself? Like, was there anything that didn't go to plan, or anything that didn't play out in the way you thought it might? Because in that environment on live TV with so many different elements in terms of, both the storytelling and the physicality, there's so many, everything has to sort of fall into place perfectly. Was there anything that you were disappointed in?
No. Mainly because everyone was telling me that I should be very proud of myself. So, but I'm very nitpicky. I probably will always be, just because I'll always try to give my 1000% out there. But, of course, there's little things here and there that I wish I could have done better. But, everyone has told me that I should be very proud of myself. So, I am. I try not to look at the bad things or the bad comments, but try to realize that what I did was something, crazy. Like, I debuted at SummerSlam at the Thunderdome during a pandemic with Seth freaking Rollins. So, I'm very blessed, and I'm very thankful.
Not a lot of people can say that, Dominik.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people can say that.
So it's crazy.
And just a couple of more questions just about the match, just because I genuinely loved it so much. What were the reactions when you came backstage? Who was the first to approach you? Because I imagine in gorilla position there are a lot of people watching.
Yeah, there's a good amount of people there. From I think the first person I saw walking back was my dad and Jamie Noble and Seth. And everyone was clapping. Everyone was very excited. I was very emotional. I cried just a little bit. But yeah, everyone was so kind, hugged my dad, hugged Jamie, hugged Seth, said thank you to everybody. But yeah, it was a surreal moment, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity.
Whose idea was it for Seth to come to the ring in the same gear that your dad wore at Halloween Havoc 97, the same year that you were born? Because that was a stroke of genius. Was that a Seth thing as well?
That was definitely all Seth, I'm pretty sure. I remember getting to the arena and he told us, and I think it was Sasha's husband, who's he's back there doing the gear and stuff,
yeah.
And he told us, he's like, have you guys seen Seth's gear? And we were like, no. He's like, it's a tribute to your dad, and he's like, to you, Ray. And we're like, I wonder what it is. So we started thinking about it, and then when we saw him, we both lost it. We were like, wow, that's really freaking cool. And it looked absolutely amazing.
It looked so cool. It looked
it looked
cool.
Really cool.
I loved it. So you obviously killed it at SummerSlam, but what has the journey been like for you to get to this point? Like how long have you actually been training both independently and with WWE?
Well, it's been quite the journey. I started here in San Diego just with my dad and Conan. We did the fundamentals, rolling, running the ropes, bumping. But then after a couple months of that here, my dad, because it's very hard being coached by someone you love. And me and my dad, like we would bump heads a lot, or like he could just tell that I would get frustrated. But for me, so I played football my whole life. So if there's authority talking to me and an authority telling me what to do, I try to give him my full respect and full attention. And when it's my dad, it's kind of hard to, because, you know, I want to take what he's saying, but at the same time, it's like, oh, come on, Dad, you know? So as soon as he sent me to Jay Lethal's in Tampa, that was, you know, different in its own already, from learning in 2 to 3 weeks how to everything from chaining to bumping and running and spots and, you know, stuff like that. So Jay was very helpful with that, and finished 3 months there, and then did my 3 months up in Calgary with Lance. So I've done a total about 3.5 years of training now. But once I finished with Lance Storm, I came back down here, and there was actually a new school that had opened up called Level Up with B-Boy. It was a very, very, very awesome independent wrestler here in San Diego, SoCal. But yeah, I've never actually done any training with WWE as far as like being in their PC and hands-on with someone from their end. But over here, I've been in the ring with guys like, you know, my dad, Conan, Phoenix, is because he lives in San Diego, and he's jumped in the ring with me and helped. You know, just different guys like that.
Amazing. I mean, you've got some great talents working with you over the last few years. That's brilliant. And do you think there was any trepidation from your dad about you becoming a pro wrestler? Because obviously, you know, he's had a glorious career, but it hasn't come without its struggles and injuries and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So was he and your mum nervous at all about you embarking on this journey?
I think my mom was more nervous than my dad. I think my dad was excited about it because he never pushed me to like go into it. It was more on my own that I approached him about wanting to join the business, and he's been excited ever since, you know, especially now. Like I've seen my dad cry maybe 3 to 4 times in my lifetime. And the 4th time was after my match on SummerSlam, you know, when we were all upstairs together. So I think it's very special for him that I'm, you know, following in his footsteps. And I think he's very happy, and I hope I've made him proud.
Oh, I mean, no doubt about that at all. And I mean, just, you know, talking about the emotional impact of that match, I'll tell you that my co-host on this show, Kevin, he cried during the match. So that is the emotional impact you had. So and that's awesome. It is. And it's very, very rare. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Renee Young has recently left the company, and she wrote what she called a love letter to her friends and her family in WWE. And she's someone who's obviously formed such close bonds with her fellow talents and personnel. As someone new coming into the fold, do you get that sense of family and togetherness with colleagues? Because I feel like the business probably wasn't always like that back in the day. A lot of competitiveness and competition to climb the rungs. But do you feel like you've been embraced by your co-stars?
Oh, most definitely. You know, everyone's been nothing but kind and respectful and, you know, encouraging from absolutely everybody that's been in the back. You know, they've been extremely kind. But you know, at the same time, I've also, a lot of the people there I've known since I was, you know, 8-9 years old, and a lot of the new talent in there. Yeah, a lot of the new talent in there, you know, I have to, like, I like to consider myself a very respectful person. So especially being in this business, you always got to go and you say hello to, you know, wherever you are. If you're the rookie, you always go and you say hello. You're always paying your dues. So I think the fact that I'm able to go and approach other people and say hello and ask for help or offer anything, you know, I think that's, and they see that I'm not like, the way I carry myself, you know, I think I'm very respectful. So I think that says a lot too about how they approach me and how they treat me. And, you know, like I said, everything's been nothing but kind things and open arms from everybody in the back. So, and I'm very grateful for that.
You just used the phrase "paying your dues," and I wanted to bring up the 30 kendo sticks whipping that you got a couple of weeks ago on Raw. Whose idea was that, and how did your dad feel about it? And sort of back to the point of the sort of old school mentality in the business. Mm-hmm. Did you see that as a bit of an initiation, kind of paying your dues in the business?
Yes and no. Okay. It was definitely like at the time, I thought it was more of like for the angle, and it was for the angle. But at the same time, you know, what goes around comes around. I knew I was going to take a beating. You know, I had been giving Seth and Murph a beating for, 2-3 weeks now, starting with the drive-by on Seth when I hit him. So I knew at the end of the day it was going to be coming around. And the producer in charge of that was Michael Hayes. So that's, it's Michael Hayes, baby. That's Freebird. But I don't necessarily know whose idea it was. I just know I was going to get hit, and I was okay with it. My dad, he wasn't too like he was cool with it. He knew it was coming. He's like, it's his turn, And there's my mom. There's video of him like commentating out while I'm getting hit. And the first one, he goes, "Oh, this one's from me. The next one's from your mom. This one's from your sister." So he was having a blast watching it. But yeah, it was definitely. I like to call it like a baptism, like type initiation type of deal. But yeah, it was cool.
It was a tough night. Just very quickly, finally, I'm pitching it to you now. Dominik Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio, WrestleMania 37, hopefully in California, the same place where your dad faced Eddie all those years ago in 2005 at WrestleMania. Can we expect to see father versus son at some point down the line? Because that would be amazing.
I think you can, just not as soon as people might want it. It's gonna take a while. He's gonna have to get under my skin and do something, but I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Long form storytelling. I'm all for it. Dominik, it's been an absolute pleasure, and genuinely, you're a bit of a hero now because your performance on Sunday was extraordinary. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on.
No worries. Take care.
You too.